Hey everybody, I am Gretchen Wegner. My pronouns are she, her. You probably know me if you landed on this video, but I am the founder of the Anti-Boring Learning Lab, a training program for academic and executive function coaches to learn about the science of learning and find anti-boring ways to teach students about their brains. And I am so delighted because I'm trying to start a new series here where we talk to members of the Anti-Boring Learning Lab. And today we have our first one, Rain Weber. Coach Rain, will you please introduce yourself and your pronouns and maybe just give just a little snippet of who you are, where you work, that sort of thing?
Yes, I am Rain. My pronouns are they, them. I work at Connected Pathways Coaching, so I'm an executive function coach. I work mainly with students in the age ranges of like 6th to 10th grade, but I do dabble in some older students all the way up to college. I kind of am just their frontal lobe for a little while as I'm helping them develop the skills to take the wheel and be their frontal lobe. So yeah,
I love that. While they're developing the skills to take the wheel.
yeah.
So you are in a very unique situation as a coach in the lab. There are a few reasons why I think you're unique and wonderful, but one of them is that you went through your coach training when you were still a college student.
Yeah.
So actually, I'm not going to say more about it because I just want you to talk about it. I was going to say a few things, but you'll say them. What's that like to be a student while you're learning tools to be a good student?
Well, the first thing is it was crazy learning all of these tools because I was able to identify the pieces in my life. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm doing this and it's not helping me, and yet I keep doing it, and this is why I'm getting the results that I'm seeing. Um, so just learning all of the tools, especially for studying. I was in my last semester of my senior year in college where I'm learning all these tools. I'm like, okay, now I need to try them all, put them to the test because that's the best way to know if they work and how to best explain them to my students. And I was like, oh my gosh, I should have been doing this all along. Where was this in freshman year?
Can you, I mean, I know it was a few years ago now, but can you remember, like, was there either one test you were preparing for or one study skill that was just truly transformative for you?
Yes. So this was a little bit after that last semester. Or wait, no, it was before because I took this before I graduated. I was studying for the GRE, which for people who don't know is the SAT for grad school because I'm in grad school now. And it's a huge test. It is like 4 hours long, a bunch of questions. I think it's the most evil test to exist. And if you ask others who've taken the GRE, they will agree. So I had to spend my free time preparing for that, and it was daunting. There was a lot of stuff on it that I hadn't thought about in years. Like every
Mm.
time you think you're done with math, it's like a bad breakup. They always come back.
Uh,
Uh, so I had to relearn a lot of math. So the one tool that really got me through it was the backward study plan because I knew my test date. I knew what I had to know, and then just kind of getting myself to a stable plan of what I have to do each day was so beneficial. I made like an entire Excel sheet. You know this about me, but the people will probably know. I'll probably mention it a bunch of times. I am an Excel person. I love Excel. I made it very pretty, very color coded. And I just laid out exactly what I had to do on which days in order to get the results that I wanted. And
yeah.
that was the only thing I could do. It was a tough test.
Okay, so I have two follow-up questions.
Yes.
First one is, do you teach your students spreadsheet skills?
Yes. Yes, I do.
And do you feel a little giddy excitement in you when there's an opportunity to teach spreadsheet skills?
Yes, yes. I actually have a spreadsheet with for all my kids, which is another skill. I do the habits and grades tracker, and I do that all on an Excel sheet, or like a Google sheet because I like to be able to share it. Um, and so they're seeing me model it, and we also do it sometimes as like a homework tracker, anything that can really be made in Excel, I make it in Excel.
Hmm.
So they're really seeing it modeled. And I always offer like, oh, if you're looking for like planner options, like this is one option, that's one option. I always throw Excel in there. I show them my Excel planner, just like I love to model it. And like if they like it, they like it. If they're like, that's so lame, that's okay. They don't have to like it. That's totally fine.
I usually, though, when I was coaching, would be like, you don't have to like it, but I'm at least going to teach you how to do a formula. Like you just need to
Hmm.
know. You just have to know.
Yeah. I'm like, I'm gonna get through this. I think it's gonna be beneficial for you. But if it sucks, you can tell me. I don't care. You
Yes.
won't hurt my feelings.
Yes. I get it. So, okay, second question. I was worried. I almost forgot it, but I remembered. So, backwards planning is one of those things that is not unique to me, but I thought it was unique when I put it into the anti-boring toolkit back in the day. And for me, it was based on a book for teachers called um, backwards design. Now I don't remember the exact name, but anyway, it's like a thing in teaching to do backwards design. And my big thing is why students should know what teachers know and learn the
Mhm.
skills that teachers know. But there's also a little thing in the back of my head that I'm like, why don't students think to do it? It's just so like duh, like it's a no duh thing in my brain too. It's like you just build backwards. It's just more efficient. And why do you think it was new to your brain to like why is it that students don't think about this thing that just feels really normal to me?
Well, I never learned about anything like that. I was never taught study skills like explicitly, and that's very common. So when I was studying, I would just be like, okay, I have a test this day. I'm just gonna kind of do whatever and hope to see the results. I never really came in with like a plan.
Right.
But I guess like laying it out the way that like the backward study plan officially like step by step works, it just like changed something in my brain. I was like, this is so efficient and effective that
Yeah.
it made sense instead of just like going in blind, be like, okay, I guess I'm gonna study math today and just kind of like do a little bit.
Right.
It was more directive.
Yeah, and it's like the brain is ripe for it. The brain wants it, but we so don't teach students how to do any kind of project planning. And school really is the only project planning there is that it's yeah, you have to be told, but once you're told, it's just like, oh yeah, of course.
Yeah. It's like, oh, duh, duh, why didn't I think of this? But
Exactly.
when you're not told, like, you can't know what you don't know.
Yeah,
It's like at one point, none of us knew that a circle was a circle.
right.
And like now as adults, like, obviously a circle is a circle.
So, okay, so you graduated. Yay, you graduated. You passed the GRE so that you
I
could
sure
get into
did.
grad school eventually. Yay, you did that. And you had are you within your first year since graduating? I can't track time very well, or has it been longer?
I'm just over a year post grad because I graduated in the fall semester of 2024.
Yes.
So I'm just a little bit over a year.
Okay, so you can speak to something else that I forgot to tell you that we might talk about, but it's so helpful for students. And this is what I love about Rain, people out there in the internet, is that you are so good at watching yourself and also so good at connecting with kids and the two and anyway, there's this dance back and forth and you're going through everything that students go through, including what I'm thinking about now is post graduation was very hard for you, I remember.
It sure was.
And it's like, you know that these things might happen in your head, but then you just go through them and it's you can't control them. What was so hard about graduating and then being alive in the working world? Um,
Yeah.
mhm.
Oh, did you have more?
No,
Just
well, I did, but then I stopped. So you just talk.
um So it was really hard because I was like a professional student for so long. I had my identity as a student. I was in undergrad for 4.5 years because I did 2 classes my first semester, 3 classes my next semester to kind of wind my way back into college because I took, I think, a 4-year gap post high school. Yeah, 4 years. So I did it in like 4.5 years, which is why I was off cycle. And I didn't really have an identity outside of being a student, which obviously a lot of my students will experience because not everyone takes a gap. And like you go through 12 years of schooling and then you go through 4 years of college and now you're an employee. And then what? So I had a hard time like filling my time and feeling like not successful, but feeling fulfilled. And
Mhm.
it doesn't say that I love my job and I feel fulfilled in the work that I do, but there was just something else missing and I couldn't quite fill it with hobbies and I couldn't quite fill it with like relationships and like friends. So it was an adjustment to just being a person. Like I was just existing in the world. I
Mhm.
wasn't working towards a goal necessarily. Maybe that was what it was. Like school, you're always working towards like a specific goal, whether that be an exam, whether that be the end of the semester or graduation. And in work, you kind of just like are doing your job.
Mhm. Yeah, well, and I think that it's really wise to name the working towards thing. And I think I also remember you didn't, so it's like you didn't have a direction to be going necessarily, but you
Mhm.
also didn't have the container for your time.
Yeah.
And especially as somebody whose job is working on Zoom with kiddos. So it just, there was, I just remember you being kind of depressed and you're like, I love to dance, but I'm not going dancing. And like, you just, I think you didn't know what to do without that structure.
Yeah. Because especially like I see students, so I see them after school hours. So I have the hours of when I wake up at 9 until I see my first student, which at that time was 4 p.m. Like,
Yeah.
what am I doing in all that time? And my dance classes wouldn't start until like 7 p.m. So like I have a full day where it would have been filled with college,
Mm-hmm.
but at that point it wasn't. And so I just felt like kind of lost.
And people don't talk about that change in
Yeah.
structure. I mean, if you're going from college to a job, that's one thing. You might not go through the dip that you went through, but I just found it very striking how hard that was for you.
Hmm.
And let's also, I do want to get to grad school and what grad school has been like now that you have all these tools under your belt. But before we get there, just I want to hear a little bit about you as a coach. Like, um, is there like a favorite kind of client you have, or are there client situations or skills that you just love teaching students, or an age that you like? Because you are a younger coach, even though you're older than most college students were, you're still younger than all the middle-aged ladies in the anti-boring learning lab. So, who are your favorite clients?
Um, I mean, I don't have like non-favorite. I love my kids.
Yeah.
So it's like hard to say like who my favorite client is, but I find it really fun working with like triage coaching. I know that may be a hot topic, but I love when a kid comes in as a hot mess and we have to figure it out.
Yeah. Yeah, so let's pause just for the people who don't know. In the Learning Lab, we talk about there's triage coaching and proactive coaching. And proactive is when you're like starting the semester together, everybody's stress free from the beginning. You'll get into stress, but you can set up systems methodically to help students. And that's different than the hot mess that
Yeah.
comes in. And usually they needed coaching 2 months ago
Mhm.
and everything's a disaster. And what do you love about that?
I just find that there's so much to like work on. You can really choose the direction and you get to really see the student with all of like I wouldn't say like what's the proper wording for this? you get to see all of the students' challenges at once.
And it's very real.
Yeah,
It's like as real as you can get for who
yeah,
this kid is, and it's palpable
yeah,
what their needs are.
exactly. Because September student is not October, November. January is pretty rough with students, I've noticed, because you're deep into the year.
Mhm.
So you really get to see where their challenges are, and then you can kind of get a better idea of maybe what the core issue is and be able to attack it first.
Mhm.
So instead of like proactive coaching, which I think all kids should be doing proactive coaching, but we know that that is not the case. Not everyone does that. With proactive coaching, you're setting up systems, but sometimes you don't know what like the key part is. You won't see that key until some things start to like go awry.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think it's really fun.
You know, it reminds me, it's similar to like parents would always, the first time a student misses a session, parents would be so apologetic and mad at their kiddo. And you, if the student is missing it because we leave the kids to show up. Hello, kitty.
Who's Zach?
And I tell parents, like, I don't mind actually. I love it. Let's get faster to the moment where the student misses the session because that means there's something for us to talk about, like something real to talk about. That's also a relationship between the two of us rather than just something that's being reported to me. You must tell us a little bit about your kitty. It's okay since they emerged. What are their pronouns and what is their name and what is their key personality trait?
His name is Zach, he, him. His key personality trait is Zach, what's your key personality trait?
Coming back over and over and over again.
Mean. His main personality trait is mean, but he is a sweetie. He's mean to the other cats. He's like the dominant cat in my house. I have four cats,
Mm.
and he's the only boy, and he takes that
Oh,
very
he
seriously.
takes it very seriously.
And you
Okay.
can see he's on the chunkier side. It's because he likes to eat everyone's food.
Everyone else's food, yes. Well,
Yeah.
nice to meet you, Zach. Thanks for revealing yourself.
Yes, you must go.
Um, Another thing. Well, I'm not going to say this. I'll say this later. I'll just ask you right now. What do you think is unique about you as a coach? What do you bring to coaching that others don't necessarily? No shade to others. It's just unique about you.
Um, I would like to say I'm pretty relatable to the kids. Like you said, I'm quite young.
Mhm.
Um, Zach, you have to stop. Um, he'll stop eventually. So I'm quite young, and so I know like all of the slang that they have. I know the memes, the jokes. I get it. So I think that's something that kids really like,
Mhm.
that I am closer to their age, and I am just like, I don't know, I'm fun.
Mhm.
Not saying that other people aren't fun, but I am relatable and Gen Z. I think it's just the Gen Z in
The
me.
Gen Z of you.
Yeah.
I love it. You also play games. I recall that you've shared with our community some of the really cool apps that you found where you could literally play. What was it, Shoots and Ladders that you showed us?
Yes, yes. There is a website where you can make your own game,
Hmm.
or you could play like the standard one. But I made a really cool emotional regulation shoots and ladders game. It's made more for younger students, sixth grade to, I've used it with a ninth grader,
Hmm.
but I wouldn't go much above that.
Uh,
And yeah, so you just play shoots and ladders, and with every turn, you draw a card, and it has a prompt like, what's something that keeps you chill during like an anxiety flare up or
mhm.
something like that. Very like Gen Z lingo that made me sound old.
But at least
Uh,
you know it makes you sound old.
yeah, yeah. Um, And it really is effective in getting the kids to learn about emotions and kind of what it looks like in their day-to-day life, what it feels like in their body, and just some regulation like techniques.
Yes.
And the best part about it is like when it's my turn, I'll be like, oh, so this is what I do to stay chill during like my anxiety time. And I say something like pretty benign, like I wouldn't go into like my deep, dark problems. That's not appropriate. But I'd be like, if I'm feeling anxious about like a school presentation, I like will have my emotional support water bottle and maybe take 5 minutes in the bathroom before my turn, something like that.
Yeah, I love it. And Rain made a video for us about this game for our emotional regulation micro credential.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for sharing that with us. And speaking of your love of emotional regulation, will you let us know what you are now going to grad school for? Rain has just finished the first semester. So tell us a little bit about what it's for and what your first semester was like.
Yes, I am in grad school working on a master's for mental health counseling. And my first semester was crazy. I feel like that's like the best way to describe it. It was a really crazy experience, ti times 10 for the workload and effort I had to put in compared to undergrad. And I always joked about that before going into grad school, but I didn't really believe it in my heart and soul. And then halfway through the semester, I was like, oh my God, this like isn't a joke anymore. Like this is like for real.
Mhm.
So it was an adjustment. Um, but with like the tools that I had learned, that was the only thing that kind of got me the grades that I needed. And we'll go more into that, but I want to make sure like there's no other questions you have before we go into that.
Yeah, I don't think I have questions, but I do want to just name a context that one of the reasons I know so much about Rain's grad school experience is that Rain is comes very regularly to our Thursday hangout for anti-boring certified coaches. And this is just a chill time for those of us who have been through the whole toolkit and who remain members of the Learning Lab, which Rain gets to do because Rain works for Krista Hop from Connected Pathways. And so we get to hang out every Thursday, and I don't have any student clients right now. So I always wanted my what's my Rain update? Like, Rain, tell me, tell me. And so you were in this unique position where you had all these tools already in you, and you had access to a group of like 6 to 10 academic coaches to support you whenever you were stressed. I mean, that's not a bad situation, hon.
Yeah, no, that's really great. It was very beneficial.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit more about what exactly was difficult and how you noticed. I guess I'm interested like how you noticed the difficulty and how even though you were a coach, you couldn't quickly and easily access the tools. You still had to go through a struggle with it.
Mhm.
And I find that fascinating. So talk about that.
Yeah, so the first thing I noticed very quickly was the amount of reading that would have to be done. I did not have to read nearly as much
Hmm.
as I did in my first semester. I probably read more in my first semester of grad school than I did in all of my undergrad. It
Hmm.
was so much, and I was never really a textbook reader. Luckily I spent the 9 months and change I had before starting grad school just like reading books from the library, so I really got my reading speed up. If I did not do that, it would have been a very big problem. So.
Okay, well, let's just pause right there. That's really interesting. So before grad school, it sounds like it's just a really good idea to simply read. You don't have to read nonfiction. You were probably reading what was it, fiction or was it nonfiction?
It was fiction. I read a lot of horror books.
Yeah. Doesn't matter the topic, but just to get your reading capacity going.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. And I didn't even realize how beneficial it would be. I just like my stories and
Hmm.
I had the time. So that's kind of what I did to fill that void that I was like having. I spent a lot of time at the library. And so it really made my reading speed go up. And I always talk to my students about pacing your reading and kind of seeing what you need to do and when it needs to be done by and looking at your schedule and seeing okay, what are you doing on this day? When would be the best time for your mind to be able to do this? I know that there's like a way to read through textbooks where you're not reading every word, you're kind of uh priming your mind for like the information and all of that, but I just could not get myself to do those things. I was like, no, 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 like I can do this. I can do it all the day before, and I can read every word. And so that was a lie. I was fooling myself, and I learned very quickly that that was not possible because I became very behind.
Well, and you
And
say you learned very quickly, but how quickly? I mean, was it like 2 weeks? Was it the first month? Was it the first half semester?
2 weeks, 2 weeks, I
Okay, in
was
the
very
first 2 weeks.
behind.
We're just trying to be the good student to do everything, except you were doing it last minute. So you're like the good, like I'm just a superhuman.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
because I was also like working, I had a social life, I was trying not to like ditch my friends, like I was trying to do it all, and that's not possible. And it really was by the second week because I remember on my Thursday class, I had an assigned reading from the first week. It was like 120 pages of straight ethics. And don't get me wrong, ethics, very, very important. I needed to know it all. But reading through 120 pages of ethics put me to bed. I would read about 15 pages and I would be asleep on my couch. So that was really a damper in trying to get it all done in one day.
Ah,
So what was I to do? So I learned that I really have to, one, pace out my reading, like maybe not leave it for the day before class,
hmm.
and two, don't read every word. Like I can skim and I'm still getting the information because guess what? The professor's gonna go over it. Like it's not that huge of a deal, and I can pay special attention to certain parts of the text where I like notice like, oh, we talked about this in class, or I know we're going to talk about this in class. This is important. I can pay attention to that. Yeah. So that was a big one that I learned immediately.
How long did it take you to put those? Well, okay, let me back up to say, I guess the good thing about having all the tools in you is at first is even though you thought I don't need them, I'll be fine. As soon as you discovered you won't be fine, you had something immediate to lean on where many students don't have, they just don't know what to do. And so they spiral into all the stress stuff. And you were, let's not wave a magic wand here, you were still effing stressed,
Yes,
even
I
when you
sure
were
was.
doing all the tools too.
Yeah.
So how long did it take you to then reorient yourself to using all your tools?
About a month. About a month, maybe a month and a half. Because like I got myself behind. So it's not like I could have paused.
Mm-hmm.
Like the readings kept coming.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I just like I had to spend every moment kind of trying to catch up and like stay on top of work. And it was just I didn't listen to myself immediately. I was like, yeah, I should probably do that. Like that will solve my problem. And then I didn't. And then I just didn't, which, that's life. Sometimes you don't listen to yourself.
How much did you tell your current clients about what you were experiencing as you were going through it?
A little bit as it like came up in session. Like if we were talking about something similar, I'd be like, look, I get it. I have the same struggle. Like and I would go into like, I have all this reading and it's hard for me to commit to do it too. I sometimes get behind or whatever. However it related to them. And I was like, but this is what would be effective. And if you can try it, just give it a try. It could help you.
Mhm.
And so I was telling myself that same thing, trying to convince me and a student.
I'm always trying to convince myself of things. I was just, as you're talking, thinking about yesterday, I made a choice that was not a good choice to do something for the business that was fun. I'm really enjoying writing my blogs these days, but it's just not the most important thing. There's email that needs to be attended to, and there's this other big project that actually will get me closer to getting more people into the lab, that I should have done that instead of write, but I just wrote. And it's just, I think it's just a constant, what you're describing here is a constant battle of being human in the kind of culture we have created for ourselves. And I don't think it's going to go away.
No, definitely not. I think, like you said, it's just part of being human. I remember once I was like, I need to do this reading and I don't want to, so I'm just gonna vacuum my whole house. So it was procrastination, but it was good procrastination, I'd say,
Right.
because I still needed to vacuum my house.
Right. And it got your body moving. And did you actually transition after vacuuming? Did you transition more easily into your work?
I did. I
Yeah.
did.
Oh, it got you into some sort of momentum that maybe you might not have done before. I think it's just to say that knowing the tools doesn't mean we use them all the time, but
Mm,
it is more helpful to have a toolbox that you can draw from when you're ready than not have
yeah,
a toolbox at all, which is what coaching is about. Um,
exactly.
moving towards you're about to start a new semester right now, yeah?
Yeah.
When?
Monday.
Monday from when we are filming this
Yeah.
Thursday. Okay.
Yes. 4 days, if I'm doing the math correctly.
Okay. So have you been thinking about how to tackle this semester compared to last?
I'm learning from my mistakes, specifically with the reading. I
Mhm,
will not be waiting to the last minute
mhm,
because I don't want that stress on my nervous system. I felt like my nervous system last semester was always heightened and it was a terrible feeling. So I am going to actually pace out my reading because I got into the habit at the end of the semester last semester. So I'm just going to continue that habit and make sure I don't get like a little bit lazy with it, especially in the beginning of the semester when it's like not super crazy and I don't have other assignments going on.
mhm.
Like I now know that the end of the semester gets a little insane and I will not be sleeping probably. That's just how it is. So if I can get the readings kind of out of the way a little bit earlier, maybe I'll sleep a little bit more.
Yeah. Maybe you'll sleep a little bit more and maybe you won't have stressed yourself out so early that you'll have at least some energy or capacity to be more stressed later on. You'll have
Exactly.
more resilience within the stress.
Yeah. I also plan on not neglecting fun.
Mhm.
I did that a lot last semester. I really didn't see my friends very often. I think I hung out with my friends 3 times over the
Hey,
fall semester.
yeesh.
Yeah, I went on one weekend vacation and then I maybe saw my friends 2 other times, like very shortly. And that is kind of lame. So I really want to not neglect fun. I didn't read for fun. I didn't play any video games. The video game thing will have to stay, unfortunately, because I cannot put a video game down once I pick it up. Like I have to play it consistently.
Mhm.
So I have learned that the more I play video games, the lower my grades are. I saw like actually a chart that showed that. So I don't allow myself to play games. That's just something I have to accept.
Mhm.
But I'm not gonna neglect my friends. I maybe will read for fun.
Okay.
Maybe I can read for fun. That would be so lovely. But I want to really prioritize relaxing,
Yeah.
instead of being stressed.
Yeah. I think that's great. All those are wonderful plans. And as we know, we'll see what happens
Yeah,
and
yeah.
when life takes off. And I'm so excited that I get a weekly update for my reality TV show called Rain Goes to Grad School. Season
Yeah,
2 is coming soon.
sure is. Yeah, it's gonna be crazy, and yeah, we'll see if I stick to any of my plans. I have no idea.
I'm looking at the time and speaking of the hangout, it's about to happen pretty soon. So I just have a few little wrap up questions. I'm curious what it's like for you being the youngest person in the anti-boring learning lab. And I mean, maybe it's not even a deal for you at all. Maybe it just
Mhm.
feels like you're hanging out with a bunch of colleagues. But what is it like being in the lab with all, like I said, mostly middle-aged ladies?
I mean, it's really nothing for me. Like, it doesn't really affect me. Um, It really, yeah, you guys just feel like colleagues. Sometimes I have a young perspective and I like to throw that in there.
Mhm.
But other than that, like I see you guys as equals. I don't think of myself as some young kid showing up to like the office with all these older adults being like, "Hi, I'm just a young kid. Please think of me as a professional."
Well, and why do you keep showing up? How does it serve you to have that regular weekly connection with us? Because you're trained, you're done, good on you. Why do you keep coming?
I really like the community. The job online can be pretty solitary. The company I work for is on the smaller side, and having this larger community feels really nice. Plus, like all of the alternative opinions from everyone, because we're all scattered across the world, not even just in America. There are some people outside of America, so I really like hearing all of the differing opinions. And plus, like, we're just fun. It's a good time. We're
We're
fun.
anti-boring for a reason, aren't we?
Yeah. Like I always made it a point to show up to meetings, even when I was at my most stressed
Yeah.
in school. I remember showing up when it was paper season and I had 2 hours of sleep. And I showed up to a meeting because I just needed a break.
Mm. I personally love that. And I hope we were rejuvenating
Yes.
in your break. So just the last topic, which could just be a topic in its whole video, and here we are squeezing in at the end. But would you be willing to name a little bit about your queer identity? And I think it's really interesting to talk about the role that queerness does or doesn't play in your coaching sessions.
Yeah, so I'm non-binary and I am queer sexuality wise. I don't really like to put a label on that because yeah. Um I don't feel like it plays much of a role in coaching unless a student brings it up. Not like brings up my stuff, but if they bring up like their own queer experiences, I feel like being like an ally towards them is really beneficial in a way that like I understand it because I live it. So I won't just like start a new client by saying, "Hi, I'm Rain, I'm non-binary." Um,
Just like
uh,
I don't say, "Hi, I'm Gretchen, I'm a cisgendered woman."
yeah, yeah. But if it like ever comes up, I'm always very open about it.
Mhm.
I have like held webinars about LGBTQ like rights and issues, especially when it comes to like youth. That's something that's really pa like a big passion of mine. So I've always been very open about it, but in the day-to-day role, it doesn't really influence anything.
Mhm. Do you have a desire to do more support? Like, do you for queer students?
Absolutely. That's always been my dream.
Yeah.
Always been my dream to help queer students. I think the queer youth is severely like underrepresented in like helping spaces.
Right.
I feel like there's a lack and I want to be the person to kind of pick up that slack.
Hmm.
That's also kind of what I'm going towards at the end of my schooling journey. I want to help the LGBT community. That's the community I want to help therapize. That's not a word, but that's what I like to say.
Well, I do know for myself that the more when we can get in our work closer and closer to the identities we care about most and we hold most deeply, and then when we can be in service to those identities, it's just really special. It's super special. So I hope for your sake that there are some spaces that either you can create or people who are in those spaces can snap you up when you're ready to be snapped up. But though Krista does not want me to say that out loud, Krista would say, "Take that back." She has been working for her forever. And you guys have started attempting to pull together a group
Yes.
for queer youth, and given our current political climate right now in the United States, it's been a little tricky to get that up and running, I think.
Sure has. Yeah, because advertising it is kind of risky
Hmm.
uh because of all of the like censorship that's happening. So it's been tough,
Yeah.
especially because some students may not feel comfortable doing like a group
Hmm.
with other queer youth or just like youth in general because of being scared of being outed or whatever their fears are, completely valid. It's just like a scary time.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we're here in the Anti-Boring Learning Lab to support that as much as possible. We're making this in January of 2026, and next school year is going to, so the 2026-2027 school year in the lab is going to be a huge emphasis on identity and culturally responsive coaching. And I really would like to learn more altogether about how to be better supports to our queer youth. And I hope that you will help us
Of
in creating
course.
some of the content we need for that. So I give you a big hug. You don't like hugs, I know necessarily, but maybe virtual hugs are better.
Yeah.
Virtual hugs. I love having you so much in our space, and I'm guessing that the people on YouTube may ask us for more stuff with you because
Yes, I
um,
would love to. I have so many things to say. Like, there is so much more that I wanted to put in this, but we can only say so much in an hour.
need a regular feature that is Gretchen and Rain.
I love to yap.
Let's yap together more in the future. But
Yes.
now we get to go yap with the certified coaches in the hangout. Take care, y'all. Oh, wait, I always forget that when we app, we should also do marketing. So if anyone is curious about the Anti-Boring Learning Lab, we have a free library where you can get a sense of some of the tools that Rain has been trained in. And it's so simple to sign up for it. It's just at antiboringlearninglab.com/resources. I think it is. That's where the free library link is. So go check that out, y'all. And goodbye. Have a good week, everyone.